Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. Have you ever been somewhere you've never been before, maybe like a city or an amusement park, or maybe a whole nother country where you went and you just didn't really know what was there, you didn't really know where to go, maybe you needed directions, and you were kind of uncertain as to how things were going to unfold when you went to that particular place. And then imagine that a guide was given to you, a person who knows the area, who understands the roadways, he understands maybe the important rides to take at an amusement park, wherever you're going. He just recognizes some things and knows some things, knows the area, and is able to let you know what to expect whenever you enter into that particular place. Well, if that was the case, and when that is the case, we know basically two things that happen or need to happen whenever you have a guide who's guiding you into an area that you are unfamiliar with. One, the comfort that the guide would give. What a comfort it would be. How it would ease your heart to know that, yes, I'm going to a place I've never been to before, but there's a person who's going to come alongside of me who knows the area, knows where to go, knows where the stops are, and you can kind of relax knowing that they can guide you in the appropriate way and help you get the best out of your visit there. The second thing would be important as well, and that is you'd have to submit to the guide. Wouldn't do any good if you had a guide there who knew the area, knew all these different things, but then you never listened to what he had to say, and you just kind of say, well, I'm just going to play it by ear, I'm just going to do whatever I want. Most likely, you're not going to have as good of an experience of that area because you're going to spend a lot of times wandering around, trying to figure out where certain places are. And you're just not going to get as much out of your trip as you would if you had the guide and you submitted to his expertise and what he had to say. Well, the same thing is true with life. You know, each day that we encounter is a new day, a day in which the unexpected could come. As much as we try to control our lives and control the days, we have our routine, we have things that we try to lay out the day and try to figure out what we're going to do beforehand. We know that there are uncertain things. There are things that can arise that kind of throw us for a loop. But intensify that by looking at really the entirety of our lives or even the future of mankind. There is a lot of uncertainty on our side of not knowing what is going to happen tomorrow. How many of us knew 2 or 3 years ago that the pandemic was going to hit and what all we'd be dealing with right now because of it? And when the pandemic did hit, we were all kind of scratching our heads wondering, where is this going to go? How is this going to play out? What's it going to look at? Or what is life going to look like a year from now or 2 years from now? We just don't know the future, and we just don't know what's around the corner. But how comforting it is to know that we have a guide. We have someone who knows what is around the corner. And that's what the book of Daniel really brings out. Exquisite detail is given to what's going to happen in the near future with these different kingdoms, with the Medes and the Persians and the Greeks and the Romans, just all these different nations, even specific kings and rulers mentioned, and the particulars that's going to happen even within them and their personal lives. The book of Daniel is just full of detail. For us, it's historical details, but for Daniel at the time it was written, it was future details, and just really laid out. Alexander the Great read from the book of Daniel and knew that it was talking specifically about him. That's how detailed it was. And what this shows us is that we have a guide, we have a God who knows the future, and not only just knows generally what the future holds, but knows all the particulars and the specifics of the future. And that should give us comfort in knowing that, yes, as we encounter days in which we don't know what to expect, as we encounter years or we look we're trying to look far ahead in our lives to see what it might be like. We don't know what the future holds, but God knows, and He's there to guide us in the right way. He knows all the roadways, the highways, the byways, the alleys. He knows the direction we need to take. And we can take comfort in knowing that He knows what's going to happen in the future, even though we may not. But there's a second part to that as well, as we spoke about with the guide. It requires submission as well. It doesn't do any good for us to just recognize, yeah, God knows where everything's going. Isn't it nice to know that we serve a God who knows the future and nothing catches Him off guard? And then we just kind of live our lives the way that we want to, according to our own desires and according to our own aspirations, and never look to the Lord for guidance and look to Him for pointing us in the right direction, given that He does know what the future holds. And so just as we would do with a guide, we need to do with God. And that is listen to what He has to tell us. Primarily through His Word, we go to His Word and see, how should we orchestrate our lives? How should we design our lives or order our lives in a very general way, but at the same time in prayer about the specific things of life, the particular things in life, praying for His guidance, for Him to impart to us wisdom, as James chapter 1 talks about, to help us to know which direction we should take, whether we should go to the right or to the left, whether to continue down the path we're at or maybe to turn around and go a different direction. Just constantly seeking the Lord's wisdom, constantly seeking the Lord's guidance in our lives, and laying hold of opportunities as He presents them to us, being aware of what He's doing in our lives and responding appropriately. These are ways that we listen to what the Lord wants us to do and let Him be our guide. After all, again, He knows the landscape. He knows the area. He knows the future, and He's a good guide. But again, we must submit to Him, and then we will reap the benefits of having such a guide. So let's let that be our encouragement today as we do our reading. Let's take God as our guide, the comfort that comes along with that, but also the submission that requires as well. So with that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.